Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, December 17th, and welcome to CVHP News. I'm Sonora Scott. First up, here's a look at what we're working on at KLST and KSAN. We'll be live at the blood drive at Icon Cinema tonight, and City Council is meeting today, so we'll have all those updates for you. Now to some news around town. We're starting with some tragic news. San Angelo police are investigating the death of an 8-month-old infant. They got a call around 12:30 on Monday about an unresponsive and unconscious baby. Officers and medics responded, and so did the Justice of the Peace. Judge J.P. McGuire ordered an autopsy for the child. SAPD says this is standard procedure when it comes to a death of a child under 10. Now, let's check in with Jay Martin, who's got a look at the weather. Good morning, Jay.
Well, it is a cold start. We saw some frost on our cars, and some of us, if you were smart enough to head out the door and start your cars early to get some warm air in there, it is going to start to see, though, warming up a little bit. 50s for today, plenty of sunshine as well, but cold air sticking around for the next couple of days, even as we go into tonight, back into those 20s for our lows, and then a few mixes of some things coming up. We're going to see some normal temperatures on Thursday, a little bit warmer on Friday before some cooler air coming in on Friday night. That's 32, so a quick little bit of cool down before we see a high pressure coming back in for Saturday and Sunday. That's going to be sitting over Mexico, getting us plenty of warm air from the south, getting us into the upper 60s, and then some 70s as well. So this entire week slowly going to be warming up, getting back to some average temperatures before we see a little bit of some unusually unseasonable warm temperatures for next weekend and next week.
Thanks, Jay. And we're back with some special guests. It is Trooper Tuesday, a new thing we're doing here, first and third Tuesdays. And y'all can ask questions to Sergeant Justin Baker. Hello, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
And you brought a team member.
Yes, I did. Jamie Harden with San Angelo Safe Kids.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
So we are talking all about child safety today, right?
Yes.
Child safety seats, because people are going to be traveling for the holidays.
That's right.
So what do they need to know?
What do they not need to know? There's so much with car seats, and that's one of the most overlooked parts of understanding the car seat goes in the car. They get it snugged in there with a seatbelt, and they think, well, we did good. That's all we need to do. There's so much more to car seats on making sure we got the proper seat for the child, the proper location in the vehicle, and then just, again, all the harnesses and straps in the proper locations for that child once secured. And so we get a lot of opportunities where Jamie and I will work events with car seat checkups, appointment schedule at San Angelo Safe Kids, where they come and ask to make sure it's installed properly. And just what we see out there on the side of the road with doing traffic stops and making sure that they're done the right way. And a lot of time, what's the percentage?
It's about 70 to 85% of the time the seats are installed incorrectly.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and a lot of parents, I was one of those parents too. Like, I thought it was in right. And now the more I'm learning, we all were. But now that I know what I know, we could have done a lot better and that child could have been a lot more secure. So that's our job. We just, we're not ones to tell parents they're doing it wrong, but hey, we just want to show you how to do it correctly.
Yeah, because everybody, like you just mentioned, both of y'all made some mistakes, you know, so it's everybody. It's no fault to their own. It's just, hey, why not get the help?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's where they think that they're just doing that extra step by they'll strap it down with the lower anchors, and then they'll put the seat belt over it, and then they'll get some duct tape and wrap it up a little bit more. We've seen it all. And really we have seen extra measures that they go to with ropes and
zip ties.
Wow.
We've really seen it all.
And it's not, lower anchors are going to work by themselves. The seatbelt will work by themselves, but together, that's a no-go. That's installed improperly. And so, what else do we see?
So we see a lot of expired car seats, which most people don't know that car seats expire.
I was shocked to learn that car seats actually expire.
Yeah, so the older models are about 6 to 7 years expire. The newer ones that they're coming out with now, they're giving about a 10-year expiration date. But the problem with expired seats is a lot of parents, whether they, can't afford a new seat, they'll go to a used store, a yard sale. And so a lot of times those seats are expired. A lot of times you don't know the history of that seat, if that seat's been in a crash. So that's a problem. So we're just here to make sure that everything's good to go with that specific seat and that your child is properly fitted in that seat.
Recalls too.
Recalls.
Yeah, and we checked one this past event, and sure enough, there was a recall that showed up.
Wow.
And so, get it out of the vehicle.
Yeah, so let's talk about the events that y'all hold for the public to make sure everybody's safe.
So obviously my job at Safe Kids, I check seats all the time. So, people call me up and we book appointments and I'll check them all throughout the week. But community events that we do a lot with TxDOT as well. The three of us like to partner together, more power in numbers.
Yeah.
And so we just did an event a couple months ago out at Mitchell Buick.
Yep.
Had probably 75.
Yeah, that's one of our biggest events of the year.
75 people show up. We gave around 40 new car seats,
Yeah,
I want to say.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of sweat, but I feel like it got kind of hot
It
there.
was hot that day. But we do a lot. We go around to, we've been to El Dorado. We're going to Winters. We go all around West Texas. So it's a huge need, and we're happy to help when we can.
And for those folks that you mentioned, they do, they may not have the funds to buy that new seat. This is a resource for them.
Yep, we'll absolutely help, when we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure the child's present, though. And that's one of the biggest things. People show up and asking about the car seat being installed properly, but they won't bring a child.
Yeah.
And we got to make sure the height, the weight, and everything, and make sure we're going to properly fit that child into that car seat.
Yeah. So if they book an appointment with you, they need to have, what all do they need to have?
They basically I need them to show up along with their child. And then obviously we want the car coming to be the car that it's staying in.
Yes.
So like I said, our job is to teach and train parents how to properly install them, but we need to make sure on our end that seat is staying in that vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, because people change them in and out.
Yeah.
That's probably a no-no.
And that's why we want them to leave,
Yeah.
making sure they installed it last.
Yeah.
So they know that they're making sure it doesn't move more than an inch from side to side or forwards and backwards.
Yeah.
You're going to test it at the proper location. There's a lot of little details like that we want the parent to know when they install it.
Yeah, so you're teaching them how to do this so that if they ever have to install another one, they know.
Right.
Yep,
Right.
absolutely. And a lot of people that come to my office, they're installed great. They're installed properly. It's just that extra they want
sense of
me to help them
security.
make them
Yeah.
feel better. And so I see a lot of parents that do amazing job. Almost better than we could. Almost, right? But again, a lot of times it's just the simple things that they're overlooking. The biggest thing I think we see is there's a tether on the back of the forward-facing seats that a lot of time are not utilized. Parents either don't know they're there or they don't know where it goes. And so that's probably the biggest thing that we see.
And then the straps for rear facing need to be at or below the shoulders, forward facing at or above. We see that off. And then all those little cute, stuffy, fluffy things that they want to put in around the kiddos, those aren't recommended unless you go into the manual and see that these things are going to be authorized. But normally that's not the case. It's going to come with the car seat, and it really comes down to being a hazard for the child still.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that. It's not only the cutesy stuff that parents love, and I was that parent too, but it's the mats between the car seat and the vehicle seat. Those are a no-no unless it comes with that seat and it's in the car seat manual. We don't want anything between those two seats because when they crash test those seats at the manufacturer, they don't have that product between them. So we don't know how that's going to interact in a crash. So we do not want anything between those seats.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense because
and I get it. You want to save your seat, and I get all that. But the safety of your child is far more important than your leather.
Yes. Yes. Good point.
Hopefully not last but not least, but the schools, what we see is where a lot of times they'll be in the rush of getting the child, getting through the pickup line, just get them in the bag and let's go.
Yeah.
We don't want to get caught up in that habit. We want to make sure the child is completely secured before we start driving that vehicle away from school. And good, got to be that example for that child and be properly secured yourself. But we'll see that a lot, or that Christmas shopping where we're gonna let's just go run over to this store real quick, just jump in the back and we'll go. It could be a mile and we could have that crash and that child could end up hurt much more severely than if they would have been properly secured. So we don't want to get caught up in the hustle and bustle right now and miss out on that most precious cargo and not secure them properly.
Yeah, so just take a few extra seconds, basically.
Yeah.
You seem like you're in a rush, but that few extra seconds can make a difference.
And like he said, you're the first example for your child. So if you're not buckling up every single time, they're not going to think it's important either. So we as a parents, it's our job to set an example and make sure that we're wearing our seatbelts as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And, for front seat passengers, it's recommended that they not be younger than 13 years of age and be in that front seat.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I remember, just, in the ranch truck, like, let's just go, but that's not the case. What are the rules for that?
Yeah, well, again, it's a recommendation, and it's that younger than 13, again, ride in the back of the vehicles. The airbags coming out at over 200 miles per hour, and it could severely injure a child. And so it's very important, again, to understand that it's for just overall safety of that child.
Yeah.
But basically, I mean, we want to make sure when a child outside of a car seat and they're just in a regular seatbelt, you want to make sure that that seatbelt is going across their shoulder, not at their neck. We see that all the time because parents want to get their kids out of a car seat way too soon or a booster seat way too soon. I mean, my son's almost 9 and he's still in a booster seat.
Yeah.
So, it's just because of his height. And if he's not in his booster seat, that seatbelt is hitting his neck.
Yeah.
Imagine being in an accident. You don't want that anywhere near your neck, right?
No.
So, we want kids in the back, like Trooper said, until they're at least 13, but also where they can seated, sitting as high as possible, not slouching, but their feet touching the ground as well. So once they reach that, it's okay for them to sit up front. But, we as safety people, we want to see all kids in the back seat. That's the safest spot in the car.
They taught us with a Twinkie, didn't they? Squeezing the Twinkie in the middle and showing that when that body, if that strap is across the midsection, what it could be doing to internal organs.
Yeah.
And they squeezed the Twinkie.
Yeah.
And it was a great example.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good visual because it puts it in perspective.
So, but that's definitely something we don't want to have happen to our children. And they'll get to where they'll get a little comfortable and start to slouch in it, and it's not properly worn. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing I'll talk about too, we see a lot of people have a lot of stuff in their cars.
Yes.
Okay, yes. I get it. We're busy. We're on the road. We're in our cars. Whatever. All of those things in your vehicle, if you're in an accident, those all become projectiles, and we're talking projectiles at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So even a baby bottle, something as simple as that. Imagine that coming at your child in an accident. Those are very, very dangerous. So when we see people and we're helping install seats, we just, encourage people to just clean it up or get rid of it or cover it up or whatnot. So
we've seen everything from, like she said, a baby bottle to a hammer, tool set,
good.
All these things are going to become projectiles. And, so.
And it's just something you don't think about,
Yeah, you don't really think about it, like, just put it in there, it'll be fine. So. But if something horrible happens, you do have to think about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So remember state law also, we want to make sure that younger than 8 have to be properly secured in a child seat or booster seat unless they're taller than 4'9". And so that's the law, and it can be issued a citation for that. And it is a moving violation if a child is not properly secured in a child safety seat or car seat.
Yeah. And if the parents, if they're not wearing a seatbelt, they're going to get a ticket for that too.
That's right.
Yep.
Perfect. So what?
A little double whammy there. You don't want that.
You do not want that at all. So what are some upcoming events or your open appointments? How do people?
Yeah, so they can call the Safe Kids office at 947-6130. I'm here all week. I'm here next week. I'm always available. The beauty of living in a small community is that you're about 5 minutes away.
Yeah, from everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm always available to check people and happy to do it on their schedule. We've got a couple things. We've got some educational events, like I said, in Winters and surrounding counties. But our next car seat check is in January. Okay. And we will post that. Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
We will post that on the Safe Kids San Angelo page, and we'll get some publicity out for that as well. But
so y'all are on Facebook and you keep up with.
We all work together. And if she's not available, then you can contact Mona Lisa at TxDOT or myself at DPS, and we're all technicians. Hopefully, we'll have some seats if that need be the case, and if we're not, we'll get them as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah.
So we're always there. We're always ready to help and make sure our kiddos are protected.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So show up in the car that you're going to put the car seat in. Show up with your child that is going to go in the car seat.
That's right.
And and just be safe. Better safe than sorry, right?
Absolutely.
Even if you feel like you're confident, it never hurts to have those second set of eyes.
And we check each other and make sure we got everything in there proper. So
yeah,
it's a good checks and balance.
Yes, it
the
is.
way we all work together, and so
Good.
I mean, it's important to all of us, but being our job, it's that much more important. But we, none of us are completely, incapable of doing something incorrectly. So we're all there checking. There's lots of eyes on that seat.
Great. Yeah. And I mean, y'all are, like you say, you're not there to judge. Y'all are parents yourselves.
Right.
You made some mistakes before, but really the overall goal is the child safety.
Yep, absolutely.
right.
Perfect. So get a hold of them. They have
Yes,
all
please
their
call.
information on websites, Facebook, everything like that. And thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having
us
us.
again.
Yeah. Remember, Trooper Tuesday, 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month. You can send us your questions. We'll get
And please
Justin.
send those questions. I want to be want to be challenged here. So
Ooh.
lots of questions. I know we have those questions out there. Who's got to yield to who and whatnot? And do we really have to go the speed limit in construction zones and all that kind of stuff? It's there for a reason. So let's move over, slow down. Let's ask those questions and get that information out there.
Yes, fabulous. So anything traffic related, anything travel related.
Yep.
If you have a question for a trooper, this is your chance to ask a trooper.
Call and ask.
Wonderful. Well, again, thank y'all so much for being here, and thank you for joining us for CVHP News. That's all for right now, but don't forget to follow us on social media and download our free app and ask those questions so
Please.
we can get it on next time. But yeah, that's all for right now. We appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye.